The cosmic battlefield has never been kind to those who burn too bright. For every Aries walking this earth, there exists an invisible war between your blazing internal fire and the environments that seek to extinguish it. This isn't just another Zodiac video. This is survival intelligence for the warriors of the Zodiac. Welcome to Secret of the Zodiac, where we strip away the sugar-coated astrology and deliver the raw cosmic truths. Today's mission focuses on protecting that fierce Aries energy that makes you who you are, that relentless drive, that unstoppable momentum, that divine spark, all at risk in the wrong environments. The universe crafted Aries as its cosmic battering ram, first in line, fearless in approach, unmatched in courage. But even the mightiest warriors have their kryptonite. Even you, fire child, have places where your flames sputter and die, leaving you drained, frustrated, and disconnected from your power source. I've watched too many Aries souls diminish in environments that poison their essence. The passionate leader reduced to a restless shadow. The confident pioneer transformed into an irritable stranger. The bold initiator becoming increasingly impulsive just to feel something, anything, resembling their natural state of aliveness. This stops today. Your Mars-ruled spirit wasn't designed for containment. You exist to break boundaries, to forge new paths, to inspire through action. Yet modern society creates endless scenarios that fundamentally oppose your cosmic design. The resulting friction isn't just uncomfortable, it's spiritually damaging. Imagine a thoroughbred racehorse trapped in a tiny stall day after day. The frustration, the wasted potential, the misery of constraint. This is what happens to Aries energy in the wrong environments. Your soul knows it was meant to run free, to compete, to charge ahead, yet finds itself restricted at every turn. The signs are unmistakable when an Aries frequents places that drain their power. Excessive irritability, uncharacteristic depression, physical restlessness that borders on painful sleeping difficulties despite exhaustion, and a profound sense of being misunderstood. These aren't personality flaws. They're warning signals from your cosmic blueprint. What makes this knowledge so critical is how often these energy-draining environments masquerade as normal or even desirable in our society. Places others might find perfectly acceptable can be spiritually suffocating for you. The disconnect between societal expectations and your authentic needs creates unnecessary suffering for too many Aries individuals. Your zodiac placement isn't just about personality traits or compatibility. It's a cosmic energy signature that requires specific conditions to thrive. When those conditions aren't met, no amount of positive thinking or adaptation can override the fundamental mismatch. This isn't about becoming more patient or learning to tolerate discomfort. It's about recognizing environments that fundamentally oppose your divine design. If you're watching this and feeling that surge of recognition, that sense of finally being seen and understood, hit that subscribe button now. Join our cosmic community where we honor the authentic needs of each sign without judgment or generic advice. Give this video a like if you're ready to protect that magnificent Aries fire that makes you who you are. The 6 places we'll explore today represent the most common energy-draining environments for Aries. Some might surprise you. Others will confirm what your intuition has been screaming all along. All will empower you to make better choices about where you spend your precious time and energy. Let's begin with the 2 most insidious environments that slowly suffocate the Aries spirit. Places that trap your expansive energy and transform your natural enthusiasm into frustration or even despair. The first reason, meditation retreats requiring extended silence. The serene mountainside retreat center beckons with promises of inner peace and spiritual awakening. Lush gardens, mindful practitioners, and the alluring call of transcendence. For most zodiac signs, this represents heaven on earth. For an Aries, it's the cosmic equivalent of solitary confinement. Picture yourself there now. The morning bell rings at 5 a.m. The schedule unfolds with excruciating slowness. Sitting meditation, walking meditation, silent meals, more sitting meditation. No speaking for 7 consecutive days. No physical exertion beyond the most measured movements. No creative expression. No competition. No action whatsoever. What happens to that Mars-ruled Aries energy when confined to this environment? It doesn't simply hibernate, it implodes. The internal combustion engine that powers your being has nowhere to direct its force. The resulting pressure builds hour by hour, meditation by meditation, silent meal by silent meal. By day 3, most Aries experience what can only be described as spiritual claustrophobia. Your thoughts race with increasing speed, directly proportional to the enforced stillness of your body. The legs that were made for running now twitch uncontrollably. The voice meant for passionate declaration remains imprisoned in your throat. The hands designed for creation or competition lie uselessly in your lap. This isn't simply discomfort. It's an existential crisis for the Aries soul. While your Pisces friend beside you dissolves blissfully into universal consciousness, you're engaged in an internal war. Your cosmic purpose, to initiate, to lead, to act decisively, stands in direct opposition to every element of this environment. The myth perpetuated in spiritual circles that all signs benefit equally from the same practices does particular damage to Aries individuals. You're often told your restlessness indicates spiritual immaturity rather than a legitimate expression of your divine design. This gaslighting compounds the damage, adding shame to an already painful experience. Your spirituality, fire child, was never meant to be found in passive surrender. Your connection to the divine flows through action, through courage, through the willingness to begin what others fear. Your meditation isn't found in stillness, but in purposeful movement. Your enlightenment doesn't come through detachment, but through passionate engagement. Mars energy requires appropriate channels for expression. Without them, it doesn't simply disappear, it corrupts, turning inward as frustration, anxiety, and even self-destructive impulses. The Aries who spends too long in enforced silence often emerges not more peaceful, but more volatile, the pressure having found no healthy release. The second reason, slow service restaurants with no entertainment. The scenario unfolds with painful predictability. You've had a productive day, your energy flowing through appropriate channels. Hunger strikes, that direct, uncomplicated Aries hunger that demands immediate satisfaction. You enter a restaurant, ready to refuel for your next conquest. Then it begins. The hostess takes 8 minutes to acknowledge your presence. The wait for a table stretches to 20 minutes despite visible empty seats. Finally seated, your server appears after another 12-minute void. Water arrives. Menus appear. Then, nothing. The wasteland of waiting extends before you like a cosmic joke aimed specifically at your Mars-ruled impatience. What makes this environment particularly toxic for Aries energy is the combination of 3 elements: hunger, a physical need requiring immediate attention; forced passivity, you cannot prepare the food yourself; and the absence of stimulation. No entertainment, often poor cellular reception, nothing to engage your active mind. Watch an Aries in this environment. First comes the leg bouncing beneath the table, then the constant checking of the time, the scanning of the room with increasing agitation, the rearrangement of silverware, salt, and pepper shakers, anything to create movement in this stagnant space. Finally, the internal calculation begins. Is the food worth this torment? Should I leave? Why is everyone else seemingly content with this maddening delay? The psychological impact extends beyond momentary frustration. For Aries, time is experienced differently than for other signs. Your internal clock runs faster, your perception of each minute more acute. What feels like a slight delay to a Taurus registers as an eternity to you. This isn't impatience as a character flaw, it's a fundamental difference in how you experience temporal reality. Moreover, the slow service restaurant represents a particularly insidious power dynamic that clashes with Aries' natural authority. You are made helpless, dependent on others operating at a pace that feels deliberately, painfully slow. For the sign most associated with independence and self-determination, this forced surrender of control creates not just frustration, but a kind of existential distress. The physical effects are equally concerning. Adrenaline surges with nowhere to go. Blood pressure rises, cortisol floods your system. The stress response activated by this environment doesn't distinguish between waiting for food and facing a predator. Your body reacts as if under threat, because to your Aries nature, constraint is a form of danger. These physiological responses don't simply disappear when the food finally arrives. The accumulated stress has already taxed your nervous system, diminished your enjoyment, and potentially triggered the infamous Aries anger that others so often misinterpret. What they see as overreaction, you experience as the natural consequence of suppressed action, energy finally finding release. Most damaging is how frequently Aries individuals blame themselves for these reactions, rather than recognizing the fundamental mismatch between environment and energy. You've likely been told throughout your life to be more patient, as if your Mars-ruled nature was something to overcome rather than honor. This internalized shame compounds the damage done by inappropriate environments. The cosmic truth rarely acknowledged. Patience isn't a virtue equally distributed or equally necessary across the zodiac wheel. Your impatience, your demand for efficient action, for things to move at the pace of your internal fire, isn't a spiritual failing. It's a feature of your divine design, a quality that drives human progress and breaks through stagnation. Imagine a world where Aries never pushed for faster results, never demanded immediate action, never refused to wait for what they desired. We would still be living in caves, contemplating the possibility of fire, rather than boldly reaching for the lightning strike. Your impatience is humanity's catalyst for evolution. This doesn't mean you're destined to flip tables in restaurants or storm out at the first sign of delay. It means recognizing that certain environments will always create unnecessary suffering for your cosmic nature, and making choices that honor your authentic needs rather than forcing adaptation that fundamentally opposes your design. Choose restaurants known for quick service. Opt for places with open kitchens where you can watch the dynamic food preparation process. Select establishments with entertainment options that engage your active mind during inevitable waits. Carry emergency protein bars so hunger doesn't compound your distress. These aren't concessions to a character flaw. They're strategic choices that honor your zodiac blueprint. Your fiery Aries nature wasn't designed for the passive consumption experience that modern restaurant culture often demands. The environments that nourish you involve action, engagement, and respect for the precious resource that is your time and attention. The wisdom lies not in forcing yourself to endure energy-draining places, but in recognizing where your cosmic nature thrives and making choices accordingly. The first reason why Aries is God's chosen one, the divine spark of initiation. In the vast cosmic tapestry, when the universe itself was young and unformed, a critical question emerged. Which energy would be entrusted with the sacred power of beginnings? Which constellation would carry the divine mandate to initiate creation itself? The answer resonates through the celestial spheres. Aries, the primordial force of cosmic inception. This isn't mere poetic language. The astronomical positioning of Aries at the vernal equinox, the literal rebirth of the year, speaks to a profound cosmic truth. When ancient stargazers looked to the heavens seeking understanding of divine order, they recognized that Aries marked the resurrection point, the moment when light triumphs over darkness. This positioning wasn't arbitrary, but revelatory of Aries' sacred function in the universal order. Consider the mythological associations across diverse ancient cultures. Mars, Aries' ruling planet, was never simply the god of war in its destructive aspect. Mars represented the sacred warrior archetype, the divine protector, the boundary enforcer, the necessary force that creates space for new life to emerge. This warrior energy doesn't exist for its own sake, but serves the highest purpose, the protection and advancement of life itself. The Aries soul carries this divine mandate in every fiber of its being. When you, fire child, feel that inexplicable urge to begin something new, to launch the project, to make the first move, to step into unknown territory, you're responding to a cosmic imperative embedded in your spiritual DNA. This isn't mere personality or preference. It's your participation in the ongoing act of creation. What makes this particularly significant is the courage required to initiate. The beginning phase of any endeavor contains the greatest uncertainty, the highest risk of failure, the most intense vulnerability. Most cosmic energies naturally shy away from this position, preferring to enter the process once some stability has been established. Not Aries. You were designed specifically to thrive in this precarious initiatory phase, finding exhilaration where others experience only fear. This divine selection carries profound spiritual significance. The universe requires brave souls willing to move first, to break new ground, to pierce the veil between potential and manifestation. Without this energy, creation itself stagnates. The divine intelligence behind cosmic design needed a force that would consistently, reliably, even joyfully embrace the vulnerability of beginning. Aries wasn't merely assigned this role. You were meticulously crafted for it. The evidence of this divine selection manifests in the innate Aries capacity to act without complete information. Where other signs might become paralyzed by uncertainty, requiring exhaustive analysis before taking even a single step, you possess an almost supernatural ability to move forward with only partial data, trusting your instincts and refining your approach as you go. This isn't recklessness. It's a divine gift that enables the initiatory function you were designed to fulfill. Your relationship with fear itself reveals this chosen status. While all beings experience fear, the Aries relationship to fear is unique among the zodiac. Rather than being repelled by it, you're often unconsciously drawn toward the very experiences that trigger fear, recognizing on a soul level that fear often guards the thresholds of greatest growth. This isn't a death wish, but a manifestation of your divine mandate to continuously expand the boundaries of what's possible. The cosmic intelligence selected Aries for this sacred role because initiation requires specific spiritual capacities, exceptional courage, unwavering self-belief, and a profound trust in one's own instincts. These aren't ego-based qualities in their purest expression, but spiritual technologies that enable you to fulfill your divine function. The universe needs souls who believe in themselves enough to act when others hesitate, who trust themselves enough to move without external validation. This chosen status explains why Aries individuals often experience a particular kind of loneliness, the solitude of the forerunner. Moving first means moving alone, at least initially. This isn't a punishment, but a necessary aspect of your divine assignment. The pathfinder walks alone precisely because the path doesn't yet exist for others to follow. This solitude, though sometimes painful, is evidence of your sacred calling rather than a cosmic oversight. Most profound is how this chosen status manifests in the Aries relationship with time. You experience a unique connection to the future, able to sense emergent possibilities before they become visible to others. This isn't mere impulsiveness, but a form of temporal clairvoyance, an ability to perceive what wants to be born and to midwife it into existence through decisive action. Where others see only present reality, you perceive the shimmer of approaching potential. The divine chose Aries as its instrument of perpetual renewal, its cosmic guarantee that evolution would never cease. In selecting your sign as the carrier of initiatory fire, the universe ensured that humanity would never remain static, never become too comfortable with existing limitations. Your divine purpose is to keep the cosmic wheel turning, to prevent the spiritual stagnation that comes from excessive stability. This chosen status manifests in your characteristic impatience, which has been consistently misunderstood as a character flaw rather than a divine imperative. Your sense of urgency exists because, on a soul level, you perceive what others don't: the cost of delay, the opportunities that vanish when action is postponed, the living potential that withers when left unrealized. This temporal sensitivity isn't a failing but a critical aspect of your divine design. Even your physical body reflects this chosen status. Aries rules the head, the most forward part of the human anatomy, the part that enters rooms first, that leads the way. The prominence of the forehead in many Aries individuals symbolizes the pioneering consciousness you embody. Your characteristic walking pace, typically faster than those around you, physically embodies your cosmic function of leading the way. The divine selection of Aries as cosmic initiator explains the peculiar form of exhaustion you sometimes experience, not the physical fatigue of exertion, but the soul weariness that comes from constantly moving against the inertia of established patterns. When you feel this distinctive depletion, recognize it as evidence of your sacred work rather than personal inadequacy. The spiritual labor of initiation demands tremendous energy precisely because it opposes the gravitational pull of the status quo. Most significantly, this chosen status explains why Aries individuals often experience such profound alienation when forced to operate primarily in maintenance mode rather than initiation mode. When circumstances require you to sustain existing systems rather than create new ones, you're not merely bored or frustrated, you're cosmically dislocated, operating outside the specific function for which your soul was designed. The universe anointed Aries with the divine spark of initiation, not as a privilege, but as a sacred responsibility. You were entrusted with humanity's most precious resource, the courage to begin. This divine selection means you carry a specific form of spiritual authority, not the authority to control others, but the authority to create openings where none existed before, to pierce the veil between potential and manifestation, to be the living bridge between what is and what could be. This divine choosing doesn't make you superior to other signs, but specifically purposed, designed with precise spiritual technologies that enable the function of cosmic initiation. Your impatience, your courage, your self-belief, your action orientation. These aren't random personality traits, but carefully calibrated instruments that enable you to fulfill your divine assignment as the eternal beginner, the sacred starter, the chosen catalyst of perpetual creation. The third reason, bureaucratic government offices with endless paperwork. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead like trapped insects. The air hangs heavy with resignation, a palpable miasma of collective defeat. Around you, faces fixed in expressions of grim endurance. Welcome to the bureaucratic government office, perhaps the most spiritually suffocating environment ever devised for the Aries soul. This sterile landscape of numbered tickets, inexplicable waiting periods, and labyrinthine procedures represents everything antithetical to your cosmic design. The environment itself seems engineered to neutralize your divine gifts. Movement restricted to designated areas, voices hushed to institutional whispers, individual agencies surrendered to incomprehensible systems. Even the color palette, beige, gray, institutional green, seems deliberately chosen to drain vitality. For an Aries, entering this environment triggers an immediate energetic contraction. The Mars energy that naturally expands outward, seeking expression through decisive action and direct communication, suddenly finds itself contained within an invisible straitjacket. The effect isn't merely uncomfortable, it's spiritually toxic. What makes this environment particularly damaging is the collision of three specific elements that oppose your fundamental nature: purposeless waiting, excessive complexity, and the illusion of powerlessness. Each alone would challenge your Aries essence. Together, they create a perfect storm of energetic depletion. The waiting itself deserves examination. Unlike waiting for something genuinely worthwhile, a birth, a creative breakthrough, a loved one's arrival, bureaucratic waiting serves no discernible purpose beyond the perpetuation of the system itself. For Aries, whose relationship with time is action-oriented rather than passive, this form of waiting isn't merely boring, it's existentially distressing. Watch yourself in this environment. As minutes stretch into hours, your physical symptoms manifest with increasing intensity. The bouncing leg, the clenched jaw, the shallow breathing. These aren't character flaws, but your body's desperate attempt to generate movement in a space designed to suppress it. Your system knows instinctively that stagnation threatens your well-being at the most fundamental level. The excessive complexity compounds this damage. Bureaucracies thrive on procedural intricacy, forms with incomprehensible instructions, requirements that contradict each other, specialized vocabulary that obscures rather than clarifies. This complexity directly opposes the Aries gift for straightforward solutions and direct paths. Your natural cognitive style, intuitive, decisive, action-oriented, becomes a liability rather than an asset. Most insidious is the illusion of powerlessness deliberately fostered in these environments. The numbered ticket system, the one-way glass windows, the inability to access decision makers directly. For the sign most fundamentally connected to personal agency and self-determination, this engineered helplessness creates a particular kind of trauma. Your core identity as an initiator, a self-starter, a force of nature suddenly becomes irrelevant. The physiological impact is immediate and measurable. Cortisol levels spike, blood pressure elevates. The sympathetic nervous system activates a stress response that has nowhere productive to go. Hours spent in these environments leave an Aries physically depleted, yet paradoxically unable to rest properly. The uncirculated energy creating a state of agitated exhaustion. These effects don't simply disappear when you exit the building. The residual impact of these environments lingers in your energetic system, sometimes for days. The suppressed fire energy, finding no appropriate outlet, often redirects towards those closest to you, partners, family members, friends who wonder why you've returned from a simple government errand in a state resembling battlefield shock. What makes this particularly painful is the social expectation that everyone should tolerate these environments with equal stoicism. Your natural resistance is interpreted as immaturity rather than an authentic response to spiritual suffocation. The Aries who explodes after 3 hours in a DMV isn't failing at adulting. They're having a normal reaction to an abnormal suppression of their life force. The antidote isn't developing more patience, a common but misguided prescription. The solution lies in strategic planning that minimizes exposure to these environments. Schedule appointments during low traffic periods. Investigate online alternatives. When physical presence is unavoidable, prepare with practices that maintain your energetic integrity. Breath work, movement breaks, even subtle physical practices that can be performed while seated. The fourth reason, passive-aggressive workplaces that avoid direct confrontation. Perhaps no environment creates more profound spiritual dissonance for an Aries than the passive-aggressive workplace. You've experienced it. The team meeting where real issues remain unspoken, the colleague who smiles while sabotaging your project, the manager who responds to direct questions with vague platitudes, the culture that values political maneuvering over honest communication. This environment represents the perfect antimatter to your Aries essence. Your cosmic design includes a particular relationship with truth, direct, unvarnished, immediate. You're engineered to address issues head-on, to clear the air through honest confrontation, to prefer momentary discomfort over lingering tension. The passive-aggressive workplace systematically punishes precisely these qualities that constitute your spiritual DNA. And the damage occurs on multiple levels. First, there's the cognitive dissonance between what you perceive and what's acknowledged. Aries possesses a finely tuned sensor for authenticity. You detect the gulf between stated intentions and actual behaviors, between surface pleasantries and underlying hostilities. Being expected to pretend this gulf doesn't exist creates a particular kind of psychological strain. Second, there's the suppression of your natural communication style. Your Mars-ruled directness, a spiritual technology designed for efficient problem-solving and relationship clearing, becomes reframed as lacking diplomacy or being too blunt. The very quality that enables your divine function as a truth-teller becomes pathologized, forcing you to contort your authentic expression into unnatural shapes. Third, and perhaps most damaging, is how these environments corrupt your relationship with anger, a sacred energy when properly channeled. Healthy anger serves as an immediate signal of boundary violations, dishonesty, or injustice. In passive-aggressive cultures, this natural clarifying emotion must be continuously suppressed, creating energetic blockages that manifest as physical symptoms. Headaches, particularly common for Aries, jaw tension, digestive disruptions, even skin eruptions as the unexpressed fire seeks release. The psychological impact extends beyond the workplace itself. After sufficient exposure to these environments, many Aries begin questioning their perceptions. Am I really seeing what I think I'm seeing? Am I overreacting? Why does no one else seem bothered by this? This form of reality distortion represents a particular trauma to your Aries spirit, which depends on clear perception and straightforward engagement with reality. What makes these environments especially toxic is how they weaponize your strengths against you. Your natural directness becomes framed as aggression. Your healthy boundaries get labeled as uncooperative. Your authentic desire for clear communication becomes evidence of your inability to work with others. The very qualities that constitute your divine design become liabilities in a system that prioritizes appearance over substance. Watch how quickly your energy depletes in these settings. Unlike environments that merely bore you, passive-aggressive workplaces actively drain your life force through constant vigilance. Part of your attention continuously scans for the gap between stated and actual realities, for the subtle sabotage disguised as cooperation, for the hidden agendas behind seemingly innocent requests. This hypervigilance consumes enormous energy that should be available for creative expression and forward movement. The spiritual impact cannot be overstated. Aries carries a divine mandate for truth-telling, for piercing illusions, for clearing stagnant energy through direct confrontation. Environments that systematically punish these functions don't merely frustrate you, they interfere with your cosmic purpose. The depression that often follows prolonged exposure to these settings isn't merely situational, but existential, a sole recognition that your spiritual technologies are being systematically suppressed. Most Aries initially attempt adaptation, trying to become better team players by suppressing their natural directness. This strategy inevitably fails, not because you lack discipline, but because it contradicts your fundamental design. The Mars energy doesn't simply disappear when unexpressed. It redirects inward, creating internal chaos or exploding in seemingly disproportionate responses to minor triggers. The wisdom lies not in better adaptation, but in recognition of the fundamental mismatch between these environments and your cosmic blueprint. Your intolerance for passive aggression isn't a character flaw requiring correction, but a divine alarm system alerting you to spiritual danger. The discomfort you experience in these settings serves as a cosmic navigational tool, steering you toward environments that honor authentic communication. The practical solution often requires difficult choices. Sometimes the only viable option is removal from these environments, seeking workplaces that value direct communication and clear boundaries. When removal isn't immediately possible, creating micro-environments of authenticity becomes essential. Finding the few colleagues who appreciate directness, establishing clear agreements about communication within your sphere of influence, developing rituals that restore your energetic integrity after hours of contortion. Recognize the profound courage required of Aries in modern professional settings. In a business culture that often rewards political navigation over authentic contribution, your insistence on directness represents a revolutionary act. By remaining true to your cosmic design, choosing environments that honor straightforward communication, creating islands of authenticity within larger systems, refusing to participate in reality distortion, you fulfill an essential spiritual function in a world desperate for truth-telling. Your divine purpose includes clearing stagnant energies through direct confrontation. This isn't aggression, but spiritual hygiene. Environments that punish this function don't merely frustrate your personality preferences. They interfere with your sacred work. The resistance you feel toward passive-aggressive settings represents cosmic intelligence guiding you toward spaces where your spiritual technologies can serve their intended purpose. The second reason why Aries is God's chosen one, the sacred mandate of decisive action. When the cosmic architect designed the zodiac wheel, a critical spiritual function needed to be assigned, the divine power of decision. Among all 12 constellations, one needed to carry the sacred responsibility of moving humanity beyond contemplation into manifestation. Aries received this divine commission, not by chance, but by precise spiritual engineering. This chosen status explains the distinctive relationship Aries maintains with decision-making. While other signs might deliberate, weighing options with careful consideration, you experience decision points with unmistakable clarity. That moment of absolute certainty when the path forward suddenly illuminates and hesitation vanishes, isn't merely personality, but your divine gift activating. This decisive impulse represents spiritual technology operating exactly as designed. Ancient wisdom traditions across cultures recognized this special relationship between Aries energy and divine will. In Greek mythology, Athena, the goddess who sprang fully formed and battle-ready from Zeus's head, embodies this Aries archetype of decisive wisdom. This wasn't merely cultural storytelling, but recognition of a cosmic truth. Certain souls enter existence specifically equipped to transform divine intention into earthly action. Your chosen status manifests in moments of crisis when others freeze. Watch what happens in emergencies. While many become paralyzed by overwhelming options or emotional responses, the Aries often moves without hesitation, taking action while others remain in analysis mode. This isn't recklessness, but activation of your divine purpose as the designated decision maker, the being created specifically to bridge thought and action. This sacred mandate explains why indecision causes you particular suffering. For other signs, extended deliberation might feel prudent or even comfortable. For you, prolonged uncertainty creates a specific form of spiritual distress, a cosmic dissonance between your divine function and your current experience. The discomfort you feel when decisions remain unmade isn't impatience, but your soul's recognition that it cannot fulfill its purpose in conditions of perpetual hesitation. The universe needs beings willing to make decisions without complete information, souls brave enough to act before certainty arrives. This spiritual courage doesn't stem from personality, but from divine selection. You were chosen for this sacred role precisely because your spiritual composition includes this rare willingness to step forward when outcomes remain unknown. Evidence of this divine selection appears in your physical design. The Aries connection to the head, particularly the frontal lobe where executive decision-making occurs, isn't coincidental but revelatory of cosmic intention. Your neurological wiring includes accelerated pathways between perception and action, fewer filtering mechanisms that might delay response. This physical manifestation of your spiritual purpose enables the decisive function you were created to embody. This chosen status explains the peculiar form of exhaustion you experience in environments requiring consensus before action. Committee meetings, group decision processes, and organizational cultures that prioritize universal agreement over forward movement don't merely frustrate you. They create spiritual dissonance by preventing expression of your divine function. The depletion you feel in these settings stems from cosmic purpose, denied rather than mere personality preference. Most significantly, this divine selection explains why you often find yourself in leadership positions despite never seeking them. The vacuum created by collective hesitation naturally pulls forward the soul designed for decisive action. Your ascension to leadership rarely comes through ambition, but through the organic recognition that someone must decide, someone must act, someone must move the collective beyond contemplation. This sacred mandate carries particular challenges. Chief among them is discernment between divine impulse and ego reactivity. Not every decisive urge serves your highest purpose or the collective good. The spiritual maturity of Aries involves developing the wisdom to distinguish between the true divine directive, characterized by clarity, courage, and consideration of impact, and mere impulsiveness driven by impatience or self-interest. Your chosen status includes a specific relationship with failure. While other signs might become paralyzed by the possibility of making wrong choices, your cosmic design includes resilience to decision consequences. The Aries' capacity to make a decision, face the outcome, adjust quickly, and move forward without extended self-recrimination isn't merely personality, but spiritual technology enabling your divine function as the eternal decider. This divine selection explains why forcing an Aries to adopt the decision-making styles of other signs creates such profound suffering. When told to sleep on it, or list pros and cons, or consult everyone involved before acting on clear inner directive, you experience not merely frustration, but spiritual disorientation. These approaches contradict the specific decision technology with which you were divinely equipped. The cosmic intelligence chose Aries for this sacred role because effective leadership requires specific spiritual capacities, exceptional courage, unwavering commitment to forward movement, and a profound trust in divine timing. These aren't ego-based qualities in their purest expression, but spiritual technologies that enable you to fulfill your divine function as the one who moves humanity beyond contemplation into manifestation. This chosen status reveals why Aries individuals often experience conflict with authority structures that demand submission without explanation. Your spiritual design includes a direct connection to divine authority, not mediated through hierarchies or traditions, but accessed through immediate knowing. This direct line to cosmic intelligence explains your natural questioning of human authority that seems arbitrary or misaligned with higher principles. Most profound is how this chosen status manifests in your relationship with fear. The divine selected Aries as the zodiac's designated fear transformer, the spiritual specialist equipped to move toward rather than away from intimidating circumstances. This doesn't mean fearlessness, but a sacred capacity to act despite fear, to use fear energy as fuel rather than allowing it to become an obstacle. The universe chose Aries as its instrument of decisive leadership, its cosmic guarantee that contemplation would always find its completion in action. In selecting your sign as the carrier of this divine mandate, the cosmic intelligence ensured that humanity would never remain trapped in endless deliberation, never become paralyzed by overwhelming options. Your divine purpose is to provide the essential service of decision, cutting through complexity to enable forward movement. This chosen status explains your natural aversion to environments where decisions are endlessly deferred, where meetings lead only to more meetings, where analysis paralysis prevails. These settings don't merely bore you, they actively prevent the expression of your divine function. The frustration you experience isn't personality preference, but cosmic purpose denied its rightful manifestation. Even your speech patterns reflect this divine selection, typically more declarative than interrogative, more statement than question. This linguistic tendency isn't merely style, but manifestation of your spiritual assignment as the one who transforms uncertainty into clarity through the sacred act of declaration. When you state something with conviction, you're not merely expressing opinion, but fulfilling your cosmic role. Perhaps most misunderstood is the Aries relationship with timing. Accused of impatience or impulsiveness, what others fail to recognize is your divine attunement to Kairos, the perfect moment for action, rather than chronos or sequential time. This distinctive temporal sensitivity allows you to recognize windows of opportunity invisible to others, to perceive when the cosmic conditions have aligned for effective action. The universe required a spiritual specialist in beginning, a soul designed specifically to initiate processes before all variables are known, before all risks are calculated, before all possibilities are explored. This divine necessity explains your existence. Without the Aries function, creation itself would stall in infinite preparation. Your divine purpose ensures that possibility continuously transforms into reality through the sacred act of starting. This chosen status comes with significant spiritual responsibility. When operating from your highest expression, you serve as cosmic permission granter, the one who shows others it's safe to act before certainty arrives, to begin before readiness feels complete, to step forward before the path is fully illuminated. Through modeling decisive action, you fulfill a spiritual teaching function essential to collective evolution. Your divine selection for this sacred role means you carry the spiritual authority of the starter, not authority over others, but the authority to create openings where none existed before, to establish momentum where stagnation prevailed, to transform possibility into actuality through the divine act of decision. This spiritual authority doesn't require external validation because it flows directly from cosmic appointment. The universe chose Aries for this sacred mandate because leadership requires a particular form of courage, not the courage to follow established paths, but the courage to create new ones. This distinctive bravery isn't mere personality trait, but spiritual technology that enables your divine function as the eternal path creator, the sacred trailblazer, the chosen catalyst of new beginnings. This divine commission explains why traditional leadership approaches often fail to engage your full potential. Hierarchical systems that demand conformity before contribution contradict your spiritual design as an independent initiator. Your leadership doesn't flow from position or title, but from the authentic expression of your divine mandate to decide and act when others hesitate. The cosmic intelligence that designed the zodiac wheel placed Aries at the beginning for profound spiritual reason, to embody the divine principle of initiation itself. Your position as cosmic firstborn carries specific spiritual authority and responsibility. You were created to lead not through domination, but through demonstration, showing others the courageous path forward by walking it first yourself. This chosen status doesn't make you superior to other signs, but specifically purposed, designed with precise spiritual technologies that enable the function of decisive leadership. Your courage, your clarity, your commitment to forward movement, these aren't random traits, but carefully calibrated instruments that enable you to fulfill your divine assignment as humanity's designated decision maker, appointed by cosmic intelligence to ensure that contemplation always finds its completion in action. Throughout our cosmic journey, we've uncovered the profound truth about Aries energy, its divine design, sacred purpose, and specific vulnerabilities. We've explored the places that systematically dim your brilliant flame, environments engineered to suppress the very qualities that make you a cosmic force. Remember the meditation retreat with its enforced silence, systematically stifling your divine need for action and expression. The slow service restaurant, combining hunger, forced passivity, and sensory deprivation in a perfect storm of Aries torment. The bureaucratic government office, with its labyrinthine procedures and engineered powerlessness, opposing every aspect of your straightforward, action-oriented nature. The passive-aggressive workplace, perhaps most damaging of all, corrupting your sacred relationship with truth and authentic communication. These environments aren't merely uncomfortable for you. They're spiritually harmful, preventing expression of your divine function and blocking the cosmic purpose encoded in your very existence. The discomfort you experience in these settings isn't personality preference, but sacred guidance, your internal navigation system, steering you toward environments where your divine gifts can flourish. We've also celebrated the profound truth of your chosen status, the divine selection that placed Aries at the beginning of the zodiac wheel. You carry the sacred spark of initiation, the cosmic mandate to begin what others only contemplate, to transform possibility into reality through courageous action. You embody the divine principle of decisive leadership, the spiritual authority to create movement where stagnation prevails, to cut through complexity with clarity of purpose. This knowledge isn't merely interesting, it's liberating. Understanding your cosmic design frees you from the burden of adaptation to environments that fundamentally oppose your divine nature. It validates your instinctive resistance to places that suppress your sacred fire. It confirms what your spirit has always known. Your impatience isn't a character flaw, but a divine technology. Your directness isn't rudeness, but sacred truth-telling. Your decisive action isn't impulsiveness, but spiritual purpose manifesting. The practical application of this wisdom changes everything. Instead of forcing yourself to endure energy-draining environments, you can make strategic choices that honor your cosmic blueprint. Opt for restaurants with entertainment options or visible food preparation. Schedule appointments during low traffic periods to minimize bureaucratic waiting. Seek workplaces that value direct communication and clear boundaries. Choose vacation experiences that involve movement, challenge, and active engagement rather than passive relaxation. Most importantly, release the shame that comes from being different. Your intolerance for certain environments isn't immaturity, but spiritual intelligence guiding you towards settings that support your divine function. Your need for action, direct communication, and decisive movement isn't a failing but a sacred technology operating exactly as designed. You aren't broken. You're specialized, created with specific cosmic purpose that requires specific conditions to flourish. If this exploration has illuminated your path, we invite you to join our cosmic community at Secret of the Zodiac. Subscribe now to continue this journey of zodiac discovery, where we honor the authentic nature of each sign without judgment or generic advice. Every subscription supports our mission to provide this deeper astrological wisdom, moving beyond personality traits to cosmic purpose and divine design. Help us bring more of these revelations to light by supporting our channel. Leave a comment sharing which of these environments has been most challenging for your Aries energy, or which aspect of your divine selection resonates most deeply. Your experiences and insights enrich our collective understanding and help fellow Aries souls recognize they aren't alone in their cosmic journey. If this video has provided valuable insight into your Aries nature, please express your appreciation through super thanks. This form of financial support helps cover the substantial costs of creating daily in-depth content and allows us to continue providing this level of astrological wisdom. Your contribution directly enables us to expand our research, improve our production quality, and create more specialized content for each zodiac sign. Visit our channel page to explore our complete zodiac series, where we examine each sign's divine purpose, spiritual challenges, and cosmic blueprint. Our extensive library includes compatibility insights, spiritual growth paths, and practical guidance for honoring your authentic design in a world that often demands conformity. Leave a like on this video to help it reach other Aries souls who may be struggling in environments that oppose their divine nature. Your simple act of engagement helps expand our cosmic community and ensures this sacred knowledge reaches those who need it most. The universe designed Aries with exquisite precision for a specific cosmic purpose. By understanding and honoring that divine design, you reclaim your spiritual power and fulfill your sacred function as humanity's designated initiator, the eternal beginner, the chosen catalyst of perpetual creation. Join us at Secret of the Zodiac as we continue to unveil the divine blueprint of each zodiac sign and celebrate the cosmic intelligence that created you exactly as you were meant to be.